Hi Stampers! Today I'm going to show you how to make this heart shaker card, but I have some red hots in there, so let's get started because we have some steps to do here. Okay, so let me tell you the measurements of your product you're going to use. This is green Galore, and that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then you're going to need a piece of Whisper White cut at 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. A piece of Real Red cut at 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. That's going to layer together like that. And then you're going to use a piece of Whisper White for the door so you can release the treats from the card. And this measures 2 by 2 1/2. And then I have a piece of Real Red. It's a strip cut at 1 inch by 5 1/2. And then you're going to cut a 1 3/8 circle with the green Galore. So let's go ahead and get started. First you're going to use your Whisper White. And I'm going to stamp this stamp set here. This is the Sweetheart stamp set. I'm going to get the leaf and everything out of here. Okay, and I'm going to be using the Block D green Galore. I'm just going to put the leaf here. And I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom of my Whisper White piece. Okay, so now I'm going to use the heart from the same stamp set. Getting ink all over me, I didn't clean it off. Shame on me. Alright, then I'm going to use the Real Red, and you're going to use a piece of scrap Whisper White for your heart. And you're going to stamp that on that first, like that. Okay, so then you're going to grab your heart treat cups, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this right over top of the heart, and I'm going to lightly trace the treat cup so I know where to cut. And then you would just cut along that line. And I went ahead and did one already, so this one is what it looks like when it's cut out. It's going to fit inside of there like that. Okay, so then, let me take that out here. Okay, so then take your template here and position it where you want it on your main image here. And I'm going to trace the inside of the heart. And this is just going to be a guide for me where I'm going to punch. And then I found that the 1 3/4 circle punch, it's the big one, works perfect for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to center that punch right over that heart and punch it out. This is going to make for the treats to come out. And then take the Real Red and layer that onto that, layer it behind the Whisper White. And then trace the circle on that also, so you know where to punch. And then punch that out. And then take the Real Red. Lots of steps on this card. Okay, so I'm going to layer it here where I pretty much want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. I'm going to use the black StazOn. And I'm going to use the Love You Much. Okay, now position this right where you want it. And then I'm going to stamp right here on the bottom, like that. Okay, then take your pencil again, and you're going to lightly draw a circle so you know where to go for your punch. Punch that out. And then take your Real Red strip. I'll put that right across the 1 3/4 punch there. And then re-punch that out. Okay, so now grab your template and put it over top of the treat cup. And then on the back side, there's going to be a little cut, and this is going to be where you're going to lift to reveal the adhesive. Okay. And then take your Whisper White piece that you stamped. You're just going to position this right over top of that hole of the 1 3/4 circle punch, like that. Okay, and then on the back you're going to notice there's a little sticky there, and I found that if I just use the full heart punch and just punch that out, and then I would cut that at 2 by 2 1/4, which I already did. And that's right here. So it looks like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put adhesive on the back side of this and position it right over the back side of my heart, just to cover up that adhesive. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and layer this onto my real red with some dimensionals. I'm going to take my door here first. I'm going to position this right over top of that heart. I'll put the dimensionals right around that. Okay, I just remove the door. So we can put it together here. Let me remove the dimensional backings. Okay, then you're going to take that real red piece and you're going to position that right over top of that 1 3/4 circle punch out, and then put some more dimensionals in the back of that. And take your green Galore. You're going to position that right over top of that hole of the 1 3/4 punch. So there's your card so far. And then take your little door, you're going to slide that inside of the heart. And then take your punch, 1 3/8 circle punch with the green Galore. It's just going to serve as a pulley. And then grab some real red, and I got the heart-to-heart punch here, and I'm going to use a small tiny heart there. Adhere these to the little tab thing. Okay, and then just slide this into the cover up the window here. Okay, isn't that cute? And then I have some real red satin ribbon. I'm just going to slide this in here and tie it over to the right hand side. Okay. Okay, then you're going to take your white gel pen and you're just going to add some doodle dots. And then also on the little tiny hearts. It's so cute. Okay. Alright, and then to put in the candy, all you're going to do is just remove your little door. And then you're going to have to put this in, whoops, you're going to have to put this in while the card is upside down pretty much, because you don't want that candy to fall out. And there you go. Okay, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye.